Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the Bad League, Bad Pods. I am Zach Fuller. I'm here with Ben Dunn. Ben, how are we doing today?
Good, man. I'm on the road edition today for myself, in the middle of a nice little road trip. So doing well. I'm doing a whole lot of nothing except for driving.
That's the level of commitment that the media has for CRS right there, folks.
Yep.
On the road, still bringing you the content you love. There was a race on Tuesday. I was not there. I was in Las Vegas. Unfortunately, first race
A
I've
week
missed
early.
in a while. Yeah, right.
You went to the wrong track, I
I
guess.
guess. Damn, I should have made that meme. I didn't even think about it. Golly, that is so something I would do too. I can't believe
You missed out, dude.
I cannot believe I missed that opportunity.
I'm slightly disappointed. I just want you to know
You're telling me.
that.
No, but yeah. How was your race, Ben? Cedlow 100, the biggest race of every season. It looks like you did
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I did okay. I really felt like I had the ability to do better, but hey, whatever, things happen. But yeah, man, it was a really good night. It was a lot of fun throughout the entire race, kind of up until the end there, which we'll get into later. But for me personally, I just kind of, I qualified outside pole, so I was outside row, and my idea was literally like, man, I'm just gonna get up front, and I don't care about fuel. I don't care. I'm just gonna go and just try to stay up front because all the stuff that happens from third back, right? Like normally
Right.
in our races. So I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to the front. I'm gonna ride up there, lead as many laps as I can, be out front as much as I can. When it comes to fuel strategy, I'll cross that bridge when I get there, right? Like I'll just hope that the person behind me also bites when I say, hey, I've only got 15 laps left and everybody else is like 25. and you know, and get someone to bite and come with me, and that'll eventually get a group together, and that kind of works. So it was a lot of fun, man. That car is really really fun on the super speedways. I think you definitely missed a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I did have fun in the Clash. I think you just cut out a little bit, Ben, but I was saying I did have
Oh,
I did have fun in the Clash. It was a lot of fun to drive, so I am looking forward to Talladega, especially because we'll have a little bit more space to race around each other.
yeah, we did have some good three wide. I will say everyone was tame. For the most part, I'd say, there were a couple incidents in the race, but for the most part, people were kind of, pretty tame and smart. We didn't do a lot of three wide unless it was something necessary or someone, got a huge run and then was pretty confident in it. But towards the end of the race, we got nice and three wide, and we had enough room there. So, like you said, Talladega is going to be fun when we have a little more room and can be a little more aggressive with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you guys were showing me a little bit of the replay last night, and I feel like a lot of the wrecks were kind of just little arguments or disagreements between two people. It wasn't really it wasn't a lot of outlandish moves that ended in
You're right.
wrecks.
Yeah.
It was kind of like more misjudgments than anything that caused some of those wrecks. So yeah, bummer I missed it. I have really grown to enjoy the super speedways now that I kind of have my expectations leveled more.
Yeah.
And yeah, bummer. So excited to get to Talladega later in the season. Let's go over the top 5. It was Dylan Hoffman getting his first Cedlow 100. It looked like he had a pretty eventful night from the replay.
Yeah, him and I were together a lot of the nights, but it seemed like whenever we weren't right next to each other or pushing one another, we were just fighting demons.
Yeah. Um,
Uh, we got like comfort,
yeah, there
he had
was
a good race. It was
go ahead. I think you just cut out a little bit.
yeah. I'm in a weird spot in North Carolina. You go ahead. I didn't have too
Okay.
much to add there.
No, I was just gonna say we saw the incident where Drift was coming off pit road. I think that should be addressed in this show. Um, just
Yeah,
Dylan not really leaving the space for Austin down there, kind of pinching him behind Drift, and that did not cause a crash,
yeah.
correct? That just kind of caused a weird stack up and shuffled those guys out.
No, what it caused was Austin dipped below the yellow line. Obviously, we have our yellow line rule, not to gain. The point is not to gain an advantage, an egregious move to go below it to gain an advantage. He drove down below it to avoid drift because he didn't have room to his right and probably didn't have time to slow down. So, in
Yeah,
my opinion, he even though it was not the ideal way to go about it, he did avoid what could have been a pretty big incident. I think that one's kind of 50-50 there with Dylan and Austin. Dylan kind of pinching him down there at a time when it wasn't really, necessary. It was like lap 60 or something like that,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah,
that wasn't helpful to the cause. But then, Austin dipping below the yellow there as well. I kind of understand him waiting to, we saw Brandon get on the brakes and bring the thing to a slow to not hit drift after Austin got out of the way, which I'm sure was terrifying for Brandon because
yeah,
you just see that car in front of you move and there's a drift just sitting still, essentially at the speed that you're carrying compared to what he was. It was
yeah,
like a 30-mile-an-hour difference, right? So, you know, that I think Austin wouldn't have had time to react to because I have a feeling he was thinking that by the time he got the drift, he would have that room to go up,
yeah,
right? And it just never happened. At the last minute, he bailed out and was able to avoid a big incident. That could have been pretty ugly if he swerved to the right, hit Dylan, or just drove right in the back of drift. There was like a 6 or 7 car pack there, and that could have gotten
yeah,
really ugly. And I don't even want to think about what more of a discussion we would have had to have
yeah,
if that was the case. So, weird incident. I know it's not 100% by the rules, and admin teams still talking about it and make sure that we kind of handle it correctly.
yeah. I was when I watched it, I kind of had the thought of like if I were in Austin's position, I don't think I would have gone below the yellow line. I think I just would have gone right and like tried to force my way up there. And if I cause a crash, then in my opinion, that's not really on me because Dylan saw that I was gonna run into drift. So
Yes,
like,
exactly.
why would you squeeze? If it's lap 90, then I can understand you squeezing me down there. But we got like 40 laps to go. So
It reminded me, it's kind of like a move of like, in Need for Speed, you're racing guys and you kind of pin them in a spot where they drill the pedestrian car
right,
on the
yeah,
road with you. It was kind of like that's kind of what it was, like the same thing as like the Dylan set him up for. So, like I said, I think it was 50-50 there. Obviously, drift kind of brought it to my attention. Hey, this happened below the yellow line. Uh, Went back, watched the replay and everything, and we're still, like I said, discussing and making sure we handle it properly. But as far as what I saw, I think it was both of those guys kind of at blame there.
yeah. It was avoiding action
And
for sure.
yeah, kudos for not causing an accident. Obviously, I don't think Drift was doing anything wrong there because
Oh
as
yeah,
the
no,
slow lapped car, you see that all the time. That's what you do, and normally the pack just moves up, and
yeah,
takes the 2 lanes above and goes right by, right? So, like, I don't think there was anything wrong on his part. I think just the situation of the pack that was coming was something that just could have been avoided completely. So yeah, just a weird situation, something you don't want to see, especially lap 65 or so. I think that's later in the race. It's a much bigger deal because of that. But if you think too, Austin goes out and comes back up, he technically didn't gain any type of advantage by doing that,
He really
right?
lost, right? Because he slowed down so
You know,
much.
it's almost kind of like changing lane on a restart when you're not supposed to, but you do it to avoid an incident.
Yeah,
Obviously, the rule for the yellow line isn't written in that way, but yeah, I think it was good accident avoidance there. It prevented a caution and a pileup, and seven frustrated drivers versus just one. Uh, and yeah,
right.
I like those numbers.
Yep. So that was Dylan, and then yeah, I guess he just got back to the front after because I think didn't he do that block on Brandon after that, or was that before that?
I believe that was. I think that was actually right after that incident, maybe. I believe going into the corner. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was because you know what? You're right. It was. It was right after because I was right. I was at the tail end of the back. I didn't even see what happened with Drift. I had
Uh
no idea that any of that even happened. But I guess I just wasn't paying attention because apparently I was in the pack. I learned that last night watching the replay. Because yeah, the Dylan block into the wall happened right in front of me. So yeah, I guess he burned a fast pair. And got back up there, but. Yeah, then
yeah,
then towards the end, he was just right place, right time with the green white checkers. The way they unfolded, like I said, a little bit of a mess, but he just happened to be right place, right time, and get a win there.
yeah. His first Cedlow 100. So congrats to Dylan, and trying to become the third person to win a championship potentially in the same season as the Cedlow 100. So we'll keep an eye on that. You finished second. We kind of already went
Yes,
over your race, so um, I should have looked this up.
there's a
But is
good.
is that your best finish in the Sedlow?
Um, I think I've gotten second or third before. I know, like last year with pushing Roden,
Right,
like I think that was
right.
like a fourth or third, and then
I
I
think you
think
were third. I was
like
fourth.
yeah, and then like in a prior season or so, I think I came again like top three, but that might be my best there, and it was definitely I think one of my best super speedway races that I've ever raced.
Uh
Like
huh.
I led a lot of laps.
Yeah, you had the highest
I
driver
don't
rating
I don't think I was ever
by a
out of
good
like the
margin.
top 10. Not I was lower than the top 10 maybe like once or twice in the race, and other than that, I felt like I was always up front mixing it up.
Yeah.
So,
Highest driver rating. You had 125. Next closest is 118. So
ooh,
yeah,
okay,
big gap there.
yeah.
Most laps led. So yeah, pretty good start to the season for you.
Yeah, no, that was like I said, very good. I felt like that thing, super speedway racing in that car is the kind of super speedway racing that I feel like I was pretty good at. There was a there was even moments during the race. I mean, it just felt like no matter what, I would just find my way to the front, which is I'm not complaining about it, but like there was a time that we were talking pit strategy, like okay, you want to pit on this lap, and it was 10 or 12 laps away. And I said, okay, we're good. And Dylan said, hey, but the bottom's open here if you want it, if you want to get yourself in position. And I was like, I'll get there in a minute. And next thing I know, I'm like outside of the front row. And we were having this discussion. I was like 10th place, and I just followed a couple lines. The next thing I know, I'm back up to the front. And I'm like, well, this wasn't what I planned, but it just felt like it was really, you know, I don't want to say easy, but it wasn't as difficult as it is in some of the other cars to make moves here and to get yourself into good positions. And I felt like I had a pretty good handle on that. So I would have loved to win it. I feel like I was close on a lot of those green white checkers too. We took 10 to go and I was in the lead on the inside row and there wasn't that many guys on the outside. So like before the last couple cautions, I was feeling pretty good. So yeah, unfortunate to not win it, but I'll take second place runner up. Absolutely.
Daytona giveth and Daytona taketh away. Um,
Daytona taketh a lot from me, so it's about time it started giveth. So the last two seasons, I've kind of had to giveth, and I'm I'm not complaining about that.
yeah. Cody Jackson finishes third. This is actually huge because he's not racing again, as far as I'm aware, until the tournament.
Yes,
So,
correct.
I'd have to go back and look and see how quickly 16th place gets covered by 26 points, which is the amount he scored. But he's basically got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races to try and hang on to the 16th spot with 26 points, which
That's pretty cool.
I don't think that's going to be too bad. I think he can keep 22nd or 20. What does he need? 16th? Yeah. I think he
Yeah,
can
16th.
I think he can keep 16th with that. Um Especially with the new point system, like, 15th only gets 1 point, right? So
Yeah.
uh yeah, theoretically, I mean, he should hang on, I think, but yeah, he's coming back for Darlington, so he scores a big amount of points, which is what he needed. Um I know he was asking for like a provisional, which I don't think is going to be granted. So,
I don't think he'll need
yeah. Um
like I think with the new point system too. Another question I have is, will he be the 16 or will he even be? He might have a
he
chance
could
to be higher. You never
Yeah,
know.
he could be.
You know,
He honestly could be.
he's already got a big gap on a lot of guys. So like, all he needs is those same people to kind of have some okay finishes and not make up a lot of ground. And he might not even be 16. He might be better than that.
Yeah, agree. Um
He had a good run though. He was, he's always strong at those tracks, and it was no different in this car, man. He just picked kind of right up where he left off with being, one of our good plate racers, and always hanging out towards the front at those races. So
yeah, he
yeah, he
always
ran a
is.
really good race. Yeah, I saw him, pretty much all night when I was up front. He was either just a little bit behind me if I was leading, or if I was working my way through. He's right there in the top five. So yeah, he had a good night.
Indeed, fourth place Owen Mays, previous Cedlow winner. Um in season 1, right? That was the only time he won, but still.
Yes,
Um
eventful night for him.
oh, that's right. Yeah, he had a few big crashes, right?
Yeah, he was all over the place. He had one of them where Austin just kind of lost control and wrecked right up in
Oh
front of him,
yeah.
and he got destroyed. That had to be a
Got
faster pair one. And
put in the
then
catch
he
fence.
was just like, avoiding everything else from there on out.
Yeah, the Matt Kenseth paint scheme looks great, obviously. So looking forward to seeing
Always.
that all season. Um,
Yeah.
and then Donnelly down there in fifth. I feel like on the replay he was um, the replay at least that I saw. He didn't really make a whole lot of noise most of the race, but he's just kind of there and comes home fifth.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like the same thing as Cody, where like he wasn't, being too crazy, but he was there. He was reliable if you needed a push. He just kind of, like you said, hung out up there all race and managed to bring it home in a good clean spot. So
Yeah, that's kind of Donnelly's mo at times. Just bringing home good finishes. Uh, and yeah, speaking of finishes, it was a little bit controversial. I'll let you
yes.
speak to it because I obviously wasn't there. I did see a little bit on the replay, but there was kind of some questions of like, man, that should have been a caution, or why was this a caution? I'll just let you kind of speak to that a little bit here.
Yeah, essentially what happened was, we had our first incident was lap 99. First green white checker goes. Something happens. I forget, that wasn't one of the ones that was really that big, but something happens and we have another go at it. On the second green white checker, there was an incident where a caution was called. And it maybe wasn't, it definitely wasn't by iRacing standards, by, our standards that we kind of made for, you know, our league specifically, where we just kind of say, like, would it be a caution in real life? I think it was something that, that was prompted that. But so second green white checker gets caution. Third green white checker, we're on our way around, and there's an incident on the backstretch. At the time of the incident, I think Judd was out front. Owen and I were trapped in the top lane, and it happened way in the back of the pack. So none of us really had a good eye on what happened, and there was not a whole lot of like clarity as far as information coming into us about was it a spin, was it a caution worthy spin, what was it, and there was no caution brought out. Then a couple other things unfolded after that, that did bring a caution out that ended the race. So that's where Dylan and I were kind of, up front, right place, right time for that. So it was something where the human element of throwing those extra cautions came into play, and something that we're definitely heavily addressing and looking at. Now in the old Oval Office to see how do we handle this going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I think with the like you guys throwing the caution, the manual cautions, we'll call them, like the realistic ones. Um, I think like it needs to be maybe everybody has like a quick chat bound for like put it out or something
Yeah,
that you can like spam if you need it, or like you were talking about last night, like the voice chat in the race, because yeah, a lot of times it's like, oh, this guy's spinning, oh, he got going. It's like very ambiguous as to whether or not we need the caution.
exactly. We need to know what I just need a clear cut, put it out or not. That's
Yeah,
and that's just the challenges of not having race control. There could definitely be some changes um, from that. Unfortunately, having to learn the hard way with an incident like that is not something that we want to do. But learning how to adjust it. What do we have to do? Do we have to go back to just iRacing cautions? Do we enforce voice chat? Something like that. All those things are kind of being discussed to figure out what is the best for us. Um, I think we're kind of realizing that the rule put in place when it comes to those cautions was something that was was okay when we had 10 guys in the league every week or so. Now we're getting a lot bigger
yeah,
fields. It's a lot harder to see things and harder to manage. So we're looking at everything and discussing everything, and if we have to make a change, we definitely will. And like I said, it's unfortunate that we had to learn the hard way with this. That Judd kind of got the butt end of that, unfortunately, with the way that all kind of played out, because he got out of the throttle and thought there was a caution coming because of what he saw the incident. And like I said, Owen and I couldn't see anything, and are getting mixed signals. So yeah, there was just a lot
yeah,
there that um, there was a lot there that was at play that we hate to have happen, but these kind of things happen, and we hope to learn from it and improve where we need to.
yeah. I mean, this is obviously up to you guys, but like if it were me, I would not personally want to have the burden of like, do I throw a caution or not while I'm racing for the win or racing in general. So, um,
Yes.
I mean, obviously, you know, you don't want somebody to just spin by themselves and iRacing not cause a caution, then their race is over. But um, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of just iRacing sometimes. So
You're right, and that was mainly the idea of it is that someone comes off a turn two at a speedway, not even a super speedway, or a Vegas or something, or Charlotte, and
yeah,
just gets a little loose, gets down the apron, spins it, loops it like what something that would be a caution realistically. But because they're off the surface, iRacing doesn't recognize it, and now that person is just stuck, lap down. You know, they got to go pit or something like that, or they're just stuck driving around doing laps of themselves. Like that was kind of the intention of why we started to add those cautions in.
yeah,
And again, when we had 10 cars or so, that stuff's fine because it's easy to kind of keep tabs on everything. But with so much going on and so much spread out and different things, it's a lot harder to manage, especially with without a race control. It was nice when we had Aaron up there, and he could at least see those and make those judgment calls, and it
yeah,
was it was hands off for us on the track. So um, we're gonna figure something out there. We've proven we're not afraid to make changes when we need to and act quickly on stuff like that. So
yeah,
it's something that's already in the works and the discussions and more to come on that.
yeah. Well, that's yeah. Hopefully, there's some progress made there. I mean, I hate to see people um upset over like procedural stuff and not on
Yeah.
track incidents. So, um, let's get into Vegas. Our first, I always, I always say like the second race of the season. We usually go to a speedway. This is like the start of the season. Like the Cedlow is kind of its
Yep.
own thing. You do earn points for it, obviously, but this is like where everybody is gonna kind of see what everybody else has.
Yep.
And I think this season it's gonna be basically the start of that learning process over these next 4 races. We got Vegas, Rockingham, Michigan, and Kansas. And through those 4 races, that's really going to be where we see like who the heavy hitters this season are going to be. And a lot of
Yeah,
other
it's gonna set the stage, right?
yeah,
You know.
in a lot of other cars, like you could probably take this second race and be like, okay, those guys are going to be fast. But with the learning curve of this car, I think it's going to take a little bit. And yeah, we got a great little stretch of 4 here. Um, Vegas, obviously, we've done 7 races there. Um, Average amount of cautions per race is 14. No,
Ooh,
no. Sorry, 2. 14
no.
total.
Okay.
14 total. I'm
I
sorry, I fucked that up.
was like, holy shit. Why did I put that on the schedule? Oh my god.
every every race has been 2 cautions or less, except for last season, which is shocking to me. I think that kind of speaks to how kind of crazy at times last season was, um, and that could be partly with race control as well, with like single car spins and stuff. But
Yep.
um,
And more cars too. So we have more cars
yep, that
than
as well.
usual.
The first race we did there, season 5, Jared won. There were no cautions, but since then there's been at least one every race. So,
Okay.
um, but yeah, it was like 0, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, and then 6. So I think without if you take the 6 out,
Six.
we're
Jeez.
actually under 2 cautions per race there at Vegas. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, what are you thinking about Vegas? I'm gonna pull up a stat here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited because like you said, that's kind of it's kind of where everyone starts showing out now. You kind of, Daytona kind of gets everyone just amped up for the season, gets them going. It's always a good time. It's a great race and it's important. And then this is where you start to kind of prove it and show what you got. So I'm excited to get out there. Um, I love these speedways, especially in this car with this big off throttle time and having a baby to think around. So I'm excited for it. I think I haven't done any testing yet, but I do want to run some laps probably when I get back prior to the race, just to make sure that you know, that I still got it,
Yeah,
and that I can figure it out. I was thinking. I think I talked about it in our schedule preview, but like those vicious bumps in turn 1 and 2, and I'm starting to think about how with as much off throttle time and as much coasting we're going to have to do, I don't even know that those bumps are going to be as big of an issue as they have been in previous cars because they're in a spot where in the Xfinity car, you're trying to drive it in deep. You're getting in real low. You're still almost on the throttle, or you're already trying to get back on the throttle at the point where those bumps are, right? And
right.
hitting those bumps while you're picking up the throttle is really what causes the issue. So, I mean, we're going to kind of be coasting. I'm sure it's still going to upset the car and throw you a little offline, but I don't know that it'll be that bad. But I do think it's going to be a challenge. I believe the weather report is pretty hot because it's set to this time of year. Every date is set to the actual race, with the exception of one on the schedule that wouldn't let me. So, you know, it's going to be hot probably and slick. And I don't even want to think about these cars on that track with some worn tires and
Yeah,
some heat in the track. My goodness.
it's gonna be fun. I was actually just about to pull up the weather report. I figured we can do that for every race this season, kind of preview it.
Yeah, and
But
we
yeah,
also you have the wear report as well. We can talk about race timings and where when I built out the schedule this year, I noted down all that stuff and started in the old schedule page. So
yeah.
it's kind of cool to have that info at your hands and be able to practice that if you want.
So yeah, let's talk about that actually, because Vegas, it starts at 0% on practice, which is basically just a completely clean track, like it rained the night before.
Mhm. Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
and then for
Or just like
qualifying,
we haven't been on track yet. Yep.
right, and then for qualifying, it goes to 25%. So I guess that's not carrying over from practice, but that's like it rained right after practice, and then they had like an ARCA race or something before us.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. You can exactly equate it to that. Yep.
okay, and then it carries over from qualifying, so it'll be probably around 25% for the race. Um,
Yeah. So like, and also like the kind of idea behind that was just like for so many seasons, I didn't even think about this. Like I just would set the races up, 0 in practice, carry, and like sometimes like some tracks we put in a lot of laps in practice, and you get to qualifying and the track is just worn in, and especially now since they added this new wear mechanic
Yeah.
over the past couple of years, like it's um, it's really noticeable at times. So just to kind of some weeks provide a little more of a fair um, track or a little bit different of a challenge where you get all this practice on a worn track and then all of a sudden, boom, it's all gone. And now you got to, kind of rework with and readjust to the track, just added challenges and
Yeah,
whatnot.
I like it. I'm just kind of looking ahead at the schedule on this. And usually like I kind of have the same sort of practice flow like every week. Like I get in there at 6:30 or 7:30 Eastern and do like a 25-minute run, and then we do the pit party, and then I'll do like
Yeah.
20 minutes with that, and then the last 10 minutes I usually use for qualifying because the track usually carries over from practice to qualifying. But
Yeah.
I'm looking at like Rockingham. The practice starts with 20% wear, and then it goes back to 20% for qualifying. So I'm actually going to want to do qualifying runs at the beginning of practice for Rockingham, right?
Yeah.
Because um,
Yeah.
doing it at the end of practice isn't really going to help me. So that's actually really interesting. You'll have to, because everybody kind of has their their same flow, like how they like to run practice. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, people are gonna have to adjust to that. But yeah, just talking about the weather with Vegas, it's gonna be 89 degrees, so it is gonna be a hot one for sure.
Oof.
I was just in Vegas and we didn't have a single day in the 80s, so I don't know how iRacing's come up with that, but pretty much every day was over 100, and I'm sure that's accurate for next week as well. But whatever. Um,
I don't think it goes that high, to be honest. I think 86, 89. I think 89 is the highest, if
okay,
I remember. I know that the lowest it goes is 60, and I've never tried the max, but I think 90 degrees is the max.
okay. Well, Um, I mean, anyways, in any case, 89 degrees is hot as shit. So, um, in iRacing for sure. So it's gonna be a hot track. It's gonna wear a lot.
I think it's early afternoon too. I think is that a 2 or 3 o'clock start?
3:30, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So it'll
Yes,
be toasty.
3:30. Yeah, and it's basically 89 degrees for the whole session. So it's just it's gonna heat up the entire way we do this. I mean, even like practice is at 11 a.m. and qualifying's at 1 p.m. So even the jump from practice to qualifying, the track is gonna heat up quite a bit. So yeah, that's gonna be fun.
You'll notice in talking about that chart that I made, some of the timings for some of the races are interesting as well. Where I kind of wanted to make it like it's a day full event, but like somewhere like I think like Darlington, like we're practicing in the afternoon, qualifying late evening, and then the race starts right before sunset, right?
Yeah,
So like you're going to be practicing on a whole different track than what the race winds up being on, and that's kind of what I was going for. Is that challenge, like, having to adapt, uh, I wasn't that good at the track because I had no idea how to evolve with it. And I'm sure other people have run into that before too. So just, you know, mixing it up a little bit, challenging some people.
yeah, I like it. Yeah, and looking at like Charlotte, it's the same thing. We practice at 3, qualify at 5, and then start racing at 6:15. So um, yeah, it's cool. It's
Yeah.
all like one day. That's kind of how I do ZGP too. It's like a single day show. And the track obviously changes throughout the different sessions. 6 different winners at Vegas. Owens won it a couple times. Uh, Judd won in season 10. Austin season 7. Jared won the inaugural race there. I won season 11, which was a stupid race with the truck. That was one of the races you missed, and it was the worst dirty air I've ever had in iRacing. Like I was not the fastest. I just had track position and just aero blocked the whole race, and it was so stupid. But we will take those in any case. And then Jack Drucker, the defending winner from last season, I think we're going to be saying that a lot this season.
Yeah, I think so too. He is you can always count on him to be nice and speedy at these speedways. And I don't think it matters which vehicle we get in. He's gonna have some speed. So he's
Definitely.
one to watch for sure.
Definitely. I think 4 sets of tires as well is going to be interesting if we get some early cautions. 124 laps. It'll be interesting to see like if we get a caution on like lap 20, what do people do? I think it's going to be hot enough where you're definitely going to want
Yeah.
tires, but it's like, do you save it to the end or not?
One thing we definitely learned at Daytona is that I think the fuel tanks in these things are a little smaller than we're used to. So that could definitely come into play there because there were multiple point. Like I think it was like early, not multiple, but there were multiple people. I'm sorry, there were multiple people at an early point in the race when we looked down and expected to have some more fuel, and it's like, oh shit, we only have like 24 laps of fuel left, and we hadn't been going that long. So it's
Mm.
like that could be another thing that who knows what the fuel mileage is going to be at Vegas. It could bring some things into the mix. Sounds like it could be a good time. I have a feeling it'll be around like the 40 something mark.
Yeah, just
Uh,
looking at the distance, like 124 laps, I think it'll still be a two stop, right? If it goes green.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, I think it's definitely still gonna be a two. I just don't know if you're gonna cut it close. If it stays green, how close are we cutting it? I don't know off the top of my head any of that information. I'd have to look that up.
well, that's the thing with a new car, right? It's like we're all going to learn this throughout the season. So, um, I do remember at Michigan, I did a AI race.
We did learn that the front ends are a little longer.
Oh yeah, yeah, in the with the pushing and
Yeah,
stuff.
some of us learned that the other night. Yeah,
Some of
front
us.
end's a little longer than we're used to.
I do know at Michigan,
Yeah.
I think to do a two stop. This was with the AI Gen 4, so it's the older one, so it may be a little bit different. But the two stop strategy, like I I barely had enough fuel to do it for 110 laps at Michigan.
Oh wow.
I think that was if 110 divided by 3, I think is like 37 or something. Um, Maybe something like that. So
Well, that's a tough one to do. Well,
yeah,
somewhere around there.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but I literally I think I was like half a lap to the good to do the two stop at Michigan, and I wasn't saving fuel or anything. So yeah, it'll be
Wow.
a nice wrinkle for this season. Let's get into some NASCAR. Did you get a chance to watch the race this weekend?
I did. Yeah, it was I love Dover Week. I miss going there. It's one of the cooler tracks to see in person, and I always tell people that like you really don't realize how fast they're going around Dover until you see it in person. Like you can
Yeah,
watch it on TV all you want, and they can show you the miles an hour, but like when you see it in person around how small of a track that is, it's wild. Um, it's really cool. I mean, it wasn't the greatest of races. I don't think it was like crazy exciting, but like Dover to me is kind of like a Pocono. Like I know I'm not going to get something crazy exciting because like it doesn't really do that for me, but I'm still going to watch it and it's still going to be a cool race. It
yeah.
was kind of cool the way that everything ended with the rain and everything. What'd you think about all that?
Well, I was in a sports book in Vegas watching with some money on Denny. So um, I,
Oh,
I was yeah I threw $20 on Denny to win, which ended up paying off.
hell yeah!
I had my Denny Hamlin shirt on, and I think I was the only person in the entire city of Las Vegas watching the race. But um, yeah, it was annoying with the rain because I really wanted to go play some poker because I was like waiting all day to do that. And then we get to like 14 to go in the race, and the rain comes, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna be stuck here for another hour and a half before I can go play. So that was slightly annoying, but I got to enjoy a few more beers and
Well, that's important,
Yeah,
especially at a
and just
casino.
hang
You
out.
have to.
Yeah, but you got to pay for the beers if you're just at the bar. Like that's why I wanted to go
That's
play
true.
poker.
That's true.
Because once I got to the poker table, I mean, they were just they were just they were just constantly on the way with beers. It was great.
Yeah, you gotta. The secret is you gotta find the way that the girls walking the slot machines are
Yeah,
maneuvering, and go jump in line in a slot machine, and they'll come to you and think you've been there for a while spending money, and you just have like $5 in the slot machine.
yeah. There you
You
go.
get your free drink, and then you just get out of there. And then next time you need one, you just kind of hunt them down. I learned the method when I was there.
Okay, yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought it was an okay race. I mean, the dirty air was really bad. Stage one was really cool with the jumbled up field. I felt like there was a lot of passing and stuff, so that was good. I thought it was absolutely insane that they were going to start this race with no practice and qualifying and no testing on this new tire. I
That's wild, isn't
yeah,
it?
I was like, dude, this is either going to be like okay or a fucking disaster. Um, but it ended up being okay. There wasn't really any big issues with the tire.
No,
I
I
think,
laid down a lot of rubber. They showed a pretty cool like
yeah,
time lapse early on in the broadcast of like, all the rubber getting laid down on the track, and it's wild to see how much laid down and how dark the track got, even though it didn't have like a crazy effect wear wise.
yeah. I did see that. How was the broadcast? Because I obviously didn't get to listen to it. They were playing audio
Yeah,
from a random baseball game in the
it
fucking
was
sports book. So
it was it was good. I think they did a good job of, with Dale and Steve up there. They're always really good at, making something that might not be that exciting, something that we know is not that exciting, seem pretty exciting, and actually,
right,
getting you a little into it. Where they were kind of breaking down on some of these, runs by the leader, first and second place, and kind of explaining to people how you set up passes at Dover, and how it's not just as easy to just, go get a pass. You got to kind of run these different lines and set up really good exits, and like all the stuff that you kind of learned in iRacing, right? Like all that stuff, they're kind of breaking it down and talking to you. So they're following a battle between first and second place, and walking you through how so and so is diamonding the corner versus the guy wrapping the bottom because he's trying to get a run, and that kind of stuff. So like I feel like they did a really good job of that, of taking a race that wasn't the most exciting one and still keeping you interested and keeping it interesting, throughout the broadcast. So I'd say they did pretty good. The TNT stuff's been kind of
yeah,
it's we were spoiled with Amazon. That was awesome. So uh, you know, to go from that back to just like what feels like just a normal kind of cable broadcast, is a little bit of a shock to the system. That we all want the Amazon back, but whatever. It's been okay, and I think they did a pretty good job on Sunday.
yeah. I think I saw a tweet that was like, if TNT didn't have Double A, Dale, and Steve in the booth, we would say it's worse than Fox, and I definitely disagree with that. Like,
Yeah,
whoever wrote that tweet obviously has forgotten how terrible Fox is. Like, TNT makes their mistakes and they do a bit of zooming, yeah, but I mean, dude, they
it's
are
not as bad, man.
the bar is
It's
so low from Fox. So, I mean,
yeah, it's
I think NBC is going to be better than TNT, but TNT is not as bad or even close to Fox. Like,
TNT just kind of feels like NBC light right now. Like
a
that's
little
really
bit, yeah.
that's kind of where I stand on that. Like it's like I don't know. It's not like it's not enjoyable, but it's not like the wow and the praise that everybody got with Amazon, where we were raving about it every week.
They do take the sport seriously though. That's one of my biggest gripes with Fox is like
Yes,
it's like a circus over there. It's like we got cartoon characters and they do these stupid skits and it's just the animations in between in between different camera shots and the Toyota all out and all this stuff like it's just like a billboard, you know? That's what Fox feels like. And um Yeah, I don't think TNT is near as bad. It's obviously not as good as Prime. Like they have the worst slot in the schedule, and this is going to happen
Yeah,
for the next 6 years too. Is like they're going to go right after Prime, and Prime is going to have commercial free coverage under green, and it's gonna they have no time restraints. Like they are going to have the best broadcast every year, and then
yeah,
TNT has to follow
easily.
that. So, um, that's unfortunate, but I mean, I think they've been doing an okay job. Uh,
Yeah,
definitely good enough, and they don't have cartoon characters, so um,
yeah, I'm okay with that.
yeah. Um, the most memorable moment of the race for me was I think it was I can't remember if it was before. Yeah, it was before that last rain delay. It was like with 60 to go or something, maybe 50 or 40 to go. Chase Elliott has the lead, and they decide to come down and put two tires on, and
Oh yeah,
they
everyone wants to
never
fire
came
around
back
and
from
Gus
that.
and this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if that's fully on Allen. I guess he made the decision, but just listening to the podcast and stuff throughout the week, it sounds like it was a discussion between him and Chase, and Chase was kind of saying like, "Well, I think I would like tires." And then Chase kind of walked it back later, and then Allen finally says, "No, let's come and get tires." And that could have been the right choice, I think, if more people pit. But with the way that race played out, and obviously seeing what Denny was able to do, because Denny was on the same strategy as Chase at that point, they literally pitted on the same lap. Um,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
obviously was the wrong call to pit.
I I think, I can agree with you, but also at the same time, I think Chase on the same eight tires of Denny plus dirty air really would have hurt him because Denny had the older tires, yes, and the right strategy call, but he also had clean air, which we learned throughout the day was massive, right? So
Yeah,
he had those older tires, but he also didn't have dirty air to deal with, right? I think if Chase is back on four old tires, he's in dirty air, he's struggling, having a lot harder of a time than at least when they gave him two. I mean, he got back up. I don't know where he wound up finishing, but I don't think he had a bad finish. He just didn't win, which is, that's Chase Elliott fans are all about. It deals with the race fire around. So, um, God, if he stayed out on four, like it could have been worse if he didn't have those two tires when it comes to trying the back. Because those guys did have two tires. Bubba Pitt, like, those guys all worked their way back up to the front by making that call. So, I think it could have been a lot worse for Chase.
yeah. I mean, but the problem is that if he stays out, he's where Denny is, right? Because he was in front of Denny, and he has that clean air. Um,
Yes,
yeah. So
yeah,
if he stays out, I mean, he has the clean air, and that was when they pitted. I was like to myself, I mean, it was good for me because Hamlin had the lead. I had money on him, so I was like, this is great. I think he's going to be able to hold him off because
yeah,
C Bell was behind him, and he had four fresh tires. But I was like, I think the dirty air is so bad that he's not going to be able to catch him. And I mean, he caught him. He got within 2 tenths. He was right there for a long time until that final rain came in. And but he just couldn't get by him. There was no chance
yeah.
of him getting by. So um, right when Chase Elliott pitted, I was just like to myself, I was like, I just don't understand why they pitted there. Like, and if you're gonna pit, why would you not take four? That's another one. Like, why only take two? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, a lot of guys did that on that last stop too, and like, it's kind of a wild call. How about Christopher Bell making his own call there when they were saying, they're trying to slow him down for the pit
Oh,
entry,
that was sick.
and he comes on the radio. He's like, no, no, He's like, it's raining. I'm staying out, and he stays out, maintains the lead. It wound up not working for him, but like, what a crazy heads up moment, at that time to be like, no, no, wait, no, I'm not pitting. Like, I'm staying out, and and make the right call there, even though it didn't pay off for him. But that was wild.
Yeah, that's
Also, on
that.
Christopher Bell, real quick, like, uh, real quick,
Go ahead.
Christopher Bell's spin down the front stretch. If everyone praised the Jimmy Johnson during qualifying.
Yeah,
Pretty historic thing at Dover there. Bell had a moment like that, even though it was surrounded by the chaos of Greg. Like Bell didn't or like barely touched the wall while spinning in front of the field. He got hit by nobody and didn't touch the ball while spinning in front of the field, which is pretty insane.
yeah. That I in the moment I didn't pick up on that, but that was an insane save. I mean, to spin right there with
Yeah,
a
if you
car
go
on
back
your
and watch it,
outside.
you'll see.
Yeah, I saw the
Yeah,
clip on
and then
Twitter.
not and keep it off the wall.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
wild.
crazy. Um, yeah, I think that call by Christopher Bell is just another example of how heads up that team is, right? Because remember in Vegas when they had a loose wheel and they stopped in the 19s box?
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so
I
they
forgot. I forgot that was Bell. Yeah,
yeah, that was I believe that was this season, right? Because we talk about it on this podcast.
I think you're right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, just another example of how heads up they are, and that's obviously like the crew chief versus the driver, but I think it speaks to like the amount of preparation they must do because um,
yeah,
I mean those two things are just things you don't really think about, but they've taken advantage of stuff like that. So pretty
yeah.
cool.
And just knowing in the moment, like, hey, this is what's going to happen. Like, just knowing in the moment to make that call because you're, like you said, because you're so well prepared and so aware of what the rules are.
Yeah,
Um, it speaks a lot to that. The fact that just to have a driver or a crew chief or both who know in the moment, I'm gonna stay out. It's gonna rain. We're gonna get a caution. Like, uh, or I'm just pulling the 19 box because I can just get my tire tightened there.
yeah,
It's all heads up stuff that comes with preparation and speaks to that. And gives us Gibbs for a reason, right?
yeah, definitely. And
Coach Gibbs.
speaking of Gibbs, I do feel like we need to mention this. It was basically domination from Gibbs and Hendrick. They occupied the top six for most of the race. They occupied the top eight. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna say they had the top 8 for a while.
yeah, I think basically Byron and one of the Byron and Bell were the only ones not in the top eight. And
Yeah,
it was due to that spin at the end because
Byron just quietly rode around in like third place all day, and like
yeah
I never even really saw a lot from him because he wasn't up there challenging anything like or getting past. Like he just literally was like quietly running. I had him in fantasy this week, which is a big reason why I was keeping an eye on him, and he was just in third like the entire race, and then got caught up in that wreck at the end. But he was just quietly right there. Bowman had a really good day
yeah they had a really strong
as
day.
well when it comes to you talking about the Gibbs and the Hendrick domination. Yeah, Bowman. I mean, he's pretty damn good at Dover, so
Yeah,
it makes sense that he had a good day out there. But yeah, that was kind of interesting, huh? I thought it was kind of cool listening to the teardown, and Jeff Gluck was talking about how Dover is one of those tracks where you really kind of see what everyone's got because it's so important on power and
yeah,
aerodynamics, and the cream rose straight to the top in that race, having those guys up there. And Ford really struggled, man. They didn't. I made Blaney as the top finisher, and it was outside the top 10, if I had to guess.
Blaney finished eighth.
But the Fords were just okay. There it is. So
Yeah,
yeah, he was the highest Ford though, right?
he was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
he
It's
was. Bubba finished seventh. He was the highest non-Hendrick or Gibbs driver, and then it was Blaney in eighth, Busher in
great
ninth,
points
and
day for that
Keselowski
team.
in
Holy
10th.
cow!
Yeah, big time. Bubba gets 31 points on the day.
Last two races they've done. Yeah, they've last two races they've done exactly what they need to do to try and get that gap. And if you tell someone last week that he gained 2 on Priest and this week he gained like 4 on him, they're going to be like, well, that's not a lot, but yeah, that's huge, man. Like what they had to do, it's crazy what the things they had to do to get those points. Like, risk strategy by staying out and locking up stage points and all the shit that they had to do to get 4 point on Priest. Bubba got lucky there. He had a really good day, and Priest didn't have um, that good of a finish. So he made
Yeah,
up a good bit of ground. A great points day for them. And yeah, the last 2 weeks they've done a lot of good points racing, and I think it's over. Bubba was in that spot where he was kind of the beginning of the season where he was running really well. So if he keeps that up, I don't think that outside of some random winners, I think he can beat Priest to that points bubble.
yeah. We got 5 races left to go in the regular season, and there's 4 spots available on points. Bubba's ahead of Priest by 16, so he's behind Chris
16.
Buescher.
Wow. Yeah.
He's behind Chris Buescher by 28, which I think that's the spot that he needs. I think with 5 races to go, and one of them being Daytona, I think you'll probably need to be 15th in points. So
Yeah. It's definitely the chances are definitely going away though. I mean, outside of the Glen and Daytona, like, you know, like as far as the rest of those races go, I don't know off the top of my head. Obviously, we have Indy this weekend, but I don't know what the other ones afterwards are. But like those chances for random winners are kind of dwindling. So, I think they got to kind of have that focus of like, let's just keep doing what we're doing and getting points and making up as much ground as we can and build this gap to
yeah,
the 60 car as much as we can.
yeah, I think Watkins Glen SVG is obviously going to be really good. He almost won last year, and he's got a better car this year, so he should be pretty good.
Yeah.
Although Busher did beat him, so Watkins Glen is kind of an unknown. Obviously, Daytona's an unknown. The other races are Indy, Iowa, and Richmond. You would think Indy and Iowa are going to have some pretty solid people win that race. You wouldn't really get like
Yeah.
a random winner. Although Paul Menard did win the Brickyard 400 that one year, so I mean,
That's
it,
all talent, man. That's not lucky. Okay, it's
anything can
all talent. You
happen
see
with.
him just dominating the Trans Am series.
Yeah, I do see that. Yeah, he is on one with that. But
Talented.
with how important pitch strategy is and stuff at Indy, like if you're like if you're driving like even a colleague car, and you get the pitch strategy right and you get that track position up front, I think it's going to be difficult to pass. So, um,
Hey,
and then Richmond,
did you
like obviously Richmond, the the debacle last year happened with Austin Dillon, but before that caution, like he was running away with it. Like they had the
yeah, like
fastest car. So
that could easily happen again. And I think that was all. I think that was strategy dependent that got him right place, right time, and then he took advantage of it. Like there was a couple
yeah,
strategy calls that got him up into those top spots, and then he was really fast for a while there, like you said. And I think that was just like I mean, that's kind of what that 3 team does, right? This strategy and
yeah,
put in the right place, and like Austin can get it done when he's in the right place. So um, I mean, he sure got something done last year at Richmond,
yeah,
but yeah, you never know that something like that could happen again. It could be anybody. Keep an eye on Kyle Busch for something like that. Kyle Busch is the one guy who I think is outside of the points who I think has the most chance to just rattle off a random win.
yeah,
Um, and just kind of shock everybody, right? Because he's Kyle Busch. That's about it.
yeah,
As long as as long as Richard Childress gets to the bottom of the mystery of who is giving his team slow cars, once he figures that one out, I think he'll maybe they'll pick up some speed and Kyle will get a chance at a win here. But
yeah. I saw that
but
comment from RC, and I'm like, man,
how fucking stupid is that, dude?
I think you're a few years late on this, man. Like you guys have sucked ass for a minute.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Also, who writes the checks for those cars, right? Like that's you, buddy. Like
yeah,
that's you can make this better. Shocking news.
yeah. Um,
you know,
I mean, I
did
saw
you
some.
did you
Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna real quick. I wanted your opinion on something I heard on DVC. Did you listen to it with Ty Dillon this week?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I was like afterwards. I was like, it pains me to say that episode really made me like Ty Dillon actually. Like,
Yeah.
and I've never really had any reason for hating him earlier. It was just kind of fun because he was Ty Dillon.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, like the one thing I want your opinion on is they were asking him about if you don't win but you win the in season tournament, are you gonna go do donuts? What do you think about that?
Uh,
I didn't. I was like, huh? Do you celebrate that? Like, while someone else won the race, do you go celebrate with them? What are your thoughts there? What would you do?
in the NASCAR in season tournament or the CRS one?
Well, the in the real life, the NASCAR one,
Okay.
where they asked Ty, like, hey, are you going to go do donuts if you win the in season tournament? Like,
I there's no way, right? Like
I think go for it. Ty. Like, go to the backstretch or something. Go have your own little party somewhere. Get away from the guy on the front stretch. But
I have to
why not,
I
dude?
have
Like,
to imagine NASCAR is going to set up like some sort of production on pit road after the fact. Like you're going to get your moment to celebrate, right? Like
yeah.
if he does donuts, that meme of the guy on the podium in third like spraying champagne and biting the fucking metal is going to be all over the place. Like
Yes, yes. And it's just because like Ty Gibbs got caught in a wreck. Because I
yeah.
mean, dude, let's be honest here. It's Ty Gibbs has to get in an accident. I don't think on raw speed Ty Dillon's going to get up there and challenge him. Ty Gibbs either has to have a really bad car or get in an incident. I think to lose this. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be kind of fun. This thing's turned out to be pretty fun. Like I like the fact that we're going into Indy with this on the line. Like
Yeah.
it's just the craziest of all scenarios. It's not like it's freaking Byron versus Chase Elliott, like something where it's like, okay, well, yeah, these guys are good. Like it's Ty Gibbs and Ty Dillon. Like it's
Yeah.
it's the grandsons of two historic teams in NASCAR. Uh, like how random is that? And
They're both
and
named Ty too. Like
it's
what are the odds of that?
yeah.
I don't think anybody had these two in the finals. So
Yeah, and
it's
only one of
just
them's driving for his grandfather.
yeah,
The other
basically,
one's
yeah,
not.
technically, yeah. Um, I think like
But
with the
it's
donuts
pretty cool.
conversation, like I think it's a bummer that it ends at Indy because if they ended this at like Kansas or something, like not a crown jewel race, I would be more okay with I think doing donuts. But the fact that it's Indy is like, you know, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like
Dude, I
if
would
they
I would go all the way around. I would go to the backstretch so that I'm not near the cameras. I'm not near the interview. But like, I mean, I'd want to celebrate.
I
I
guess if
fucking
you
won the.
win,
I'm
you can
I'm
do whatever you want.
I'm Ty Dillon. I just won the in-season tournament in NASCAR. I got $1 million, even though my car owner gets all of it. Like,
Yeah.
um, I really, after learning that prior to Dover, I really wanted Tyler Reddick to go win, just because I wanted NASCAR to have to give Denny $1 million
Yeah.
after this whole lawsuit shit.
Yes.
Like, oh god, that would have been phenomenal.
Would have been great.
But unfortunately, we don't get that satisfaction.
Yeah.
But we do get the tie versus tie show. So
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. I think it'll make me pay attention to Ty Dillon, which I definitely never do. I'm almost tempted to pick him in my fantasy because he's had such a golden horseshoe up his ass this whole time.
seriously,
So like I could see
seriously,
him
going in
go and finish top five somehow. Like
random stats that I just made up is that going into Dover, there was a 75% chance it was going to be someone named Ty versus someone named Ty or Tyler.
yeah,
Someone named Tyler was going to be pretty much locked into.
yes,
Was definitely locked in, and there was
there
a
was
good
at
chance
least
it
going to
was going
be
to be head to
one.
head. Yeah, there was at least going to be one.
Yeah, um, very interesting. I think we pretty much covered everything. I don't have the
Who's your brickyard pick? We've fallen off on our picks, but it's
yeah.
okay.
We're gonna
We're
have
still
to
just
do this more organized next season with the picks. But
maybe we'll reset with the playoffs. We'll take it seriously at the beginning of the playoffs.
okay, okay, I like that.
We got 5 weeks to figure out how to keep an order of it, and
Yeah,
and
um,
uh, and to get a read on the actual playoff position.
yeah. Um, I am gonna pick. I'm gonna ride the wave, dude. I think Denny's got the momentum, and this is one race that he's really wanted for a while. I think Denny's gonna nab it.
I think
They have the speed right now, so
like a clear cut pick. I'm gonna pick one just for fun, but like I do think that I think Larson's gonna be really strong because he's
yeah,
good there. Obviously, the story with Indy the last 2 years. He dominated there last year, so in the Cup he was really good. So, I think he's gonna be really good. But my pick is I would love to see Chase Briscoe win this race just because it's his hometown.
Oh yeah,
He wants that one so bad, and now he finally has a car where he can go do it. He's been running really strong the last couple weeks, and I think it would be pretty cool to see him. He's a big Tony Stewart guy. He's from there, around there somewhere. He loves Indianapolis and looks up to a lot of IndyCar drivers from the past.
that would be really
So
cool.
I think it'd be really cool for him to get that win. That would be a pretty meaningful win and a cool little homecoming, and just finally doing it in his first chance in a car that is really strong. I think that would just be the story of that is just awesome. So I'm picking Chase Briscoe.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good pick. They've had a lot of speed lately.
Yeah, a lot, man.
Yeah,
They're qualifying well and getting him up there, and then he's just has enough speed to stay there and be really strong. So good on them. They're really figuring it out and have turned it around from what was kind of a little rocky start to the season, but man, they've got their groove going now, and
yeah.
he's been racing really well.
I think that's to be expected, right? New team, new manufacturer.
Yeah,
He's only ever
yeah,
driven
and
Ford, so
and the
Denny
pressure
was
of you're going
talking
to
about
get you're
that.
not just going to you're not going to any team. You're going to Gibbs.
Right. Denny was talking about that on his podcast. I think it was just the difference between like the Stewart Haas car and the JGR car. What Briscoe was talking about, like, man, this thing is loose in. Like, this is so much different than what I've driven. Like, I think there was a pretty big learning curve for him, but he's definitely got on top of it since he went over there.
Yeah, he sure has, and this is back to back second places for him, right? With Sonoma and Dover.
Um,
Because
yes,
I mean, I know he finished right behind SVG, obviously, and then I don't think anybody got by him. I think it was just him and Denny. So I guess that's back to back runner up finishes for him. So that's huge for them, man. They're quick.
yeah. They had a good result in the. Oh no, I was thinking about Charlotte. That was so long ago. But yeah, back to back runner ups. I was trying to find his results from Chicago. It looks like he didn't have a great run at Chicago. Yeah, he finished 23rd at
Okay.
Chicago. So, um, excuse me, but yeah, couple of JGR boys. Jesus, I'm coughing like a ton for some reason right now.
I mean, set it down.
Jesus. Um, moving on. Yeah, I mean, couple of JGR guys for the picks. I think we pretty much covered everything. You got anything else from NASCAR or CRS?
No, man, not that I know of. I think I think we pretty much covered everything. Looking forward to Las Vegas and CRS and to get this season really up and rolling.
Indeed, I am as well. Excited to make my debut this season because
Yeah.
for some reason we booked the flight at like 8 p.m. Central Time, so I had no chance. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, leave a review. Judd's still the only one commenting. I'm going to keep saying it until more people do. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you.
Peace.